I'd like to demonstrate a piece of apparatus used for distilling dirty water here. It gets condensed here, gets finely condensed in this funnel full of water, and here we have pure water from this dirty water. Here we have a burner, a can with some water, a can on top. We have an aerial or antenna soldered here. The antenna is kept cool by this piece of absorbent paper dipping into dirty water. The steam comes through the antenna, condenses into this funnel, and when the funnel gets too full, the water runs down a plastic pipe, and then the water gets collected in here. Now we should in a moment see the steam beginning to come out of the end of this antenna. We're just reheating the water. We're going to see steam begin to come out. It's coming up, it's evaporating, and it's going to get cooled here, and then some steam is going to come out of the end here. Let's see if we can see it in a moment. There you'll see the water bubbling out. And it was that which was bubbling into the water which was making so much noise. So here we see the water squirting out. Here the condensed water is coming out. Just to show you what we have here in this funnel. This wants to fall over. So let me just lie it like that. How did I make this funnel? It's just a funnel with a piece of plastic tubing. I push the piece of plastic tubing in to the end of the funnel, and you will see that I push it in just below the lip of the funnel. And as this fills with water, as it condenses, it's going to pour down this piece of tubing, and then it's going to be caught into the bottle at the bottom. So the condensed water is caught into this funnel. Then here we have our paper cloth. Now this is still pretty hot, so I'm going to, here we have 2 tins. These were in fact 2 baked bean tins. I haven't even bothered to take the label off. But what you need, here was the original pair of tins. What you'll notice is this tin is slightly smaller than this tin, and the smaller tin will fit nicely and make a steam-free seal inside this tin. If you have a caliper, you can check the diameter of the tin, and you'll see that the diameter of this tin is just 1 mil less than the diameter of this tin. So you get the smaller tin, and look, you'll see it's got a lip that's slightly smaller than this top lip, and we normally open it at the top here. So they use that for stacking, but this will fit nicely in there. So now you must cut a hole in the bottom of the indented lip. And the way I would cut it is I just take a pocket knife. So here's my pocket knife, and I would cut it, push that in there, and now I just cut a ring. You're not going to see this, it doesn't actually matter how you cut it. Like this. And now we've opened the bottom. There's the baked beans, or whatever you're using, and then we pour out the baked beans and give this tin a bit of a wash. And there's the hole at the bottom. Likewise, we choose the bigger side of this tin, not the indented side, and we open that with a tin opener so that this will be able to pop nicely into this now open tin. I'm going to just pull these two tins apart. This is hot water, so I'm going to pour that in there. So there's the opened tin. Here is our baked bean, our other baked bean tin, and the two fit nicely into each other and can be pushed together. So then the next thing you've got to do is make a little hole in the top of the smaller tin. So I would obviously wash this out. So here, where's my knife? Let's take this label off. We take that off, and we're going to make a little hole about there. Now, one other thing, I prefer to have a bigger hole. I'm sure it would work with the current hole that is there, but I do prefer to have a slightly bigger hole. So I'm going to drill a slightly bigger hole here. So I'm holding with the pliers the aerial or antenna. There's my drill. Seems to have a soft coppery material on the inside. And there we've got this, there we've got a slightly bigger hole now. Right, now we're almost ready to solder this. So the first thing that I'm going to do is just to roughen this aerial a bit. Just to scratch it up a bit. I'm also going to roughen this tin a bit, just so that the solder will stick. Okay, so there, that's rough. Plonk that down there, and we're going to fit this into here like that, and then we are ready to solder it in. Now we have to solder the antenna into the hole in the tin. So we place the antenna into the hole, we get our soldering iron, we get a bit of flux, place it there around the hole, get our solder, it's got to get quite hot. This is quite a big piece of metal. Let that cool. And there is our soldered joint. Just one thing, we have to also make sure that we have an opening. This has got to come off. So we have to saw this off at around about there with a hacksaw. We take our hacksaw and we just saw it off. And there we go. The end is now open for business. One last but important thing worth mentioning is the role which this funnel plays. It has to be filled with water because that is where the final condensation of the steam occurs. Some of the steam is condensed or cooled here in the antennae, but quite a bit of the magic also occurs because this funnel is full of water. So the final exit of the antenna must be dipped in water. Well, let me show you also how we take a piece of paper towel. There's a piece of paper towel. We kind of fold it like this and dip it into the water. Get another paper towel. You can fold it diagonally if you do, to make sure that the pointed ends. So there's a diagonal. Place it diagonally over the antenna. You hear the sound changing. This is not cool, so we're just going to pour some water onto this to get it to cool down a bit. Do you see the steam rising out of here? There's a lot of steam coming out of there. So it is very important that we fill this funnel with water. And watch as the water gets to the right level. You hear? That is the steam coming into the water and it's being condensed and cooled. So that is why this funnel must be filled with water. Here is some of the cooling that occurs, but here the final bit of cooling is what captures the last bit of steam, so you don't see the steam coming off. It's quite hard to see the steam, but if I take it out of the water, you can perhaps see the steam. And now it's blowing back into the water. So the funnel serves a very important function of condensing that last bit of steam. This has been Stephen Thomas showing you how to distill dirty water and turn it into fresh water after you have boiled it off, collected the steam, condensed it, and it is now good drinking water. Especially if you live in an area such as we do where there's currently a drought on, this may be your last resort. You may just have borehole water or seawater and you want to distill it and get a cup of fresh water, and this would be a cheap and easy way to do it.